Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happy Hour. We are so glad that you are joining us for another episode of Career Happy Hour. As you come on in, we will ask for you to just drop your name in the comments, tell us where you're tuning in from, and if you dare to share, what do you have sipping on in your cup? What are you drinking on this evening for Happy Hour? We're going to give folks a few more minutes to get the alert that we are now live for happy hour, and we will get started here in just a few minutes. I'm telling you, we are going to have an amazing episode tonight. We have a really amazing guest co-host, and we are going to have a free giveaway. I don't know if you all were able to check out the winner from last week's giveaway, but that was some amazing stuff. So we're really glad about being able to make sure that you are not only getting some great nuggets from Career Happy Hour, but you're able to get some free stuff too. So we really want to make sure that we are we want to value your time that you spend with us. And we are going to get started here in just a few minutes. Make sure as you come on in to drop in your name, where you're tuning in from, and what are you sipping on. I see you, Kimiko. You got to tell us where you're coming from. What are you drinking on, girlfriend? Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Happy Hour. We are so excited about having another episode. I tell you, I have been having so much fun and talking with our guest co-host and really being able to share some valuable information, some nuggets that you can take back to your day, to your life, to your career, to your business, and really want to make sure that you're finding value in these shows. So I am Lashina Recruitalina, your six-figure career brand coach. I am absolutely obsessed with your success, and I am on a mission to normalize earning six figures. And when I talk about six figures, remember, I'm not talking just $100,000. Six figures is just one digit shy of $1 million. So that's 999,999. So that is what we want to normalize when we talk about six figures, earning $100,000 and up. And that's what we're here to do with Career Happy Hours, to give you those nuggets that you're able to incorporate into your business, incorporate into your career, incorporate into your profession so that you can continue to earn more. So Career Happy Hour is all about high frequency, ambitious career professionals and entrepreneurs who are rocking their oomph. That's right. That's how we do it up in Career Happy Hour. It's all about rocking your oomph. Now, tonight we have an amazing guest co-host, and I want to share a little bit with you about his story, although we're going to unpack that a lot with him. But I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what you have in store in what we will be talking about tonight. So with Komodo Sauces is the backstory here that I want to just read a little bit of the bio. Komodo Sauces, in 1918, my great-grandmother, which is Gabe talking here, was a victim of human trafficking. She was lured onto a Dutch merchant vessel with little recollection of what happened and ultimately ended up in Suriname. Through it all, she eventually earned her freedom. With that, a portion of our heritage was preserved and handed down from one generation to the next. Java to Atlanta, indentured servant to immigrant to U.S. citizen. One of our favorites, passed down through the ages, is the recipe of these sweet and savory hot sauces, or sambal as it's called. In the past, the only way we could get our hands on the sauces would be if grandma brought some in her carry-on from Tsunami. We thought we'd make it a little easier for you, so we made a business out of the family recipe. Not only does our company provide great products that we are almost positive you'll love, but our business is also committed to fighting modern day slavery. We have chosen to weave this into our DNA from inception. With each bottle purchase, you help raise awareness and financially support anti-human trafficking organizations. Thank you for being a part of our story. So that is just a little bit of the bio for Gabe, who I will bring in. Hello, hello. How are you this evening, Gabe? So great to have you. We're so excited to be able to talk to you a little bit more about you, about your business, about your sauces, and about that secret sauce that we're going to discover. How are you
Okay.
doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing
So,
good. I'm doing
thanks
good.
for
Did I do your bio a little bit of justice, I hope?
you did do it some justice. It's Suriname,
That's right.
but
I was
no, it's okay.
practicing.
No, it's okay. Every time I tell people where I'm from, like most people are like, "What?" And they do a double take. They got to look it up. I got to pull up Google, Google Maps to show them. So don't feel too bad. So
Well, the other thing that I'm known for is that I make up words. So yeah, I own that. I will mess
hey,
up a word in a minute.
no,
So
you did great. You got the point across. So I'm excited to be here, and thanks for having me on.
well, geographically, tell us, where is that in the world?
So Suriname is a country in South America. It's on the northeastern or northeastern side of the continent, north of Brazil and to the east of Venezuela. So it's one of the
Mhm.
three Guyanas and the only Dutch-speaking country in South America. So that's where my my family came from. So.
Wow, wow. So have you been in the States your whole life, or have you been back and forth?
No, I've moved here when I was 5, so that's why I don't really have an accent. But we've been back a couple of times. Most of our family still lives there or in Holland in Europe. So
Well, I just want to let you know, one of our viewers who's tuning in, make sure that you put your name when you put your comments, because remember, some platforms don't put the name. But Gabe, this viewer says, that's incredible. I'm sold. Take my money. I don't care what it tastes like.
I promise you, it tastes good. I promise you. But I'm excited. We'll gladly take the order. So.
Yes, yes. And so, tell us a little bit then about the recipe. I mean, whenever you have a recipe that has come through generations, there's nothing like, your grandmama's recipe, but
Correct.
no, even better when it's your great grandmama, because I remember my great grandmama and I was in the kitchen with her cooking, and it's
Mm,
just that love that goes into those dishes that's like no
yeah.
other. But
Yeah.
how have you preserved that over the time over time?
Well, I have to give credit where credit's due. I met my great grandmother a handful of times when I was younger in Suriname. She still lived on the plantation, which I guess you could say is like the equivalent of a farm today. They still call it a plantation down there. So I
Mhm.
met her a couple of times, but she passed it down to my grandmother, as the story goes, and then down to my mother, right? So the chef behind um, this is my mother, who's also, my business partner. So she is the one that, I can do as much lifting as I want, but when it's time to give the final approval, that's mom. So that's how we've been able to preserve it. And I like to I've made this comparison to other people before. If you think about Italians and spaghetti sauce, right? This is a like sambo, sambo ketchup or bami sambo, as these are called in Suriname. These are not we're not the only house that makes it in Suriname, if you will, right? But it is our take on this recipe, just like there's a bunch of different types of spaghetti sauces, right? So it's been passed down through the women in the Indonesian side of my family. It's been passed down through them over the generation. So I'm just the one that was like, hey, let's bring this thing, let's give this thing some teeth and maybe put a little bit of muscle behind it and see if we can make it work here. So that's how
Wow,
we.
that's awesome. Well, Crystal is chiming in. She says, I'm sure you ship anywhere, huh? Be sure to drop that website. We will
Yeah.
definitely make sure we drop the website, Crystal. But make sure, everyone, make sure that you tune in to the end because we do have a free giveaway. So make sure that you stay to the end. We'll definitely make sure you have the website. And, I really appreciate, Gabe, what you were talking about that, this recipe, it's one of those things that has gone through generations, but you decided to give it legs. I love how you talked about that. Where, have you always wanted to make sauces, to take this recipe forward? Like, I think, your beginnings started very differently. And that's one of the questions that I usually like to ask my guests is,
Right.
what did you want to be when you grew up? And is this what you're doing?
It's funny you should ask. It's one of my favorite questions because um, I've always I've always like wanted to be an entrepreneur. Right. To be honest, if I was like my Marvel superhero, I wanted to be like a light skinned Tony Stark, right? Because that was like my guy, right? He's the entrepreneur, he's the innovator. I love tech. My background is in initially customer service and then technology, right? Being a software consultant was my latest source of income, if you will, prior to starting Komodo Sauces. So I've always, I've launched a software startup before back in 2016. Um, so I've always imagined myself there, and like the way I'd envisioned it, right? Gabe's plan, God's like giggling up there, right? When I like lay it out for him, but uh, I was like, I'm gonna get rich from some tech thing. I'm like, Zuckerberg can do it, I can do it. Like, I don't like nothing's really in my way, right? And so that didn't work out, and I'm sitting here back in the corporate thing, and that's some people's thing, but it wasn't for me. And the pandemic hit, and I was working. Delta Airlines was my customer, and that consultants in that industry didn't do so hot last spring. So I started looking for other options. Did I think that hot sauce would be my first thing? No, I was like, I'm going to get rich first, and then I'm going to use that capital to reinvest in bringing Surinamese foods, hot sauce. My dad makes a punch. So our family has talked about this stuff for a long time. We didn't know how. I always was just like, I'm not really going to look at this right now because it takes a lot of money in my mind, right? Without trying it out. In my mind, I was like, the barrier of entry into the food and beverage industry is way too high, right? And so I just kind of put it on the back burner until recently. So I did. So the short answer is yes, I've always thought about bringing Cernese products to the American market. I had the order very, very wrong, if you will. So, which which I'm sure. So, anyways, go ahead.
When I always say God is the best comedian ever. He really is because we can have our plans all day, every day, as long as we want, but his plan is what will win out, regardless
Oh,
of what we think our plan is.
right, right, and it's just like it's a humbling experience, right? Because being in software, like because that's like almost taking. It's one of the few ways to take a thought and convert it into money without this like step in between. Um, you can be lulled into thinking that it's easy, right? You can be lulled into like, oh, well, look at all these guys. You got this guy doing this. You got this girl doing this. Oh, it took 3 years. Awesome. But when you really get into the mix and you see the heavy lifting that it takes, you're like, this is like, I can go sell lemonade, and my kids selling lemonade at the end of the driveway are going to be more profitable than than by the end of the day than most tech companies in 5 years. But you don't know that when when you become obsessed with your own. I guess my coach used to call it reading your own press clippings, right? When you're like, oh man, I can do this, I'm awesome, and you're just like, no, the market doesn't care what Gabe thinks. They could care less. The market wants what it wants, not what you think it wants. So, that's maybe just a little extra credit that nobody paid for. You just got some little extra nuggets. So.
Yes, we need all the nuggets we can get because that's one of the things that I really want viewers to get from this show if they don't get anything else is that just because someone looks like they're successful from the outside appearance, they look like they have it all going on. But when you start peeling back those layers, you just don't realize the struggle that they've gone through, the uncertainty, the doubt that they've had, and how they have had to be consistently grinding day after day after day is nothing that happens overnight. And that's why I love hearing everyone's journey because it's not a straight line of A to B.
Nope.
It's always a zigzag. And usually that zigzag is what helps make you who you are to appreciate where you've come from.
Yep. My investor, he said it, very bluntly, is like, we're talking 50, 60 hours a week for a minute, right? For the time being. Everybody wants to skip, he and I had plenty of conversations about this, but everybody wants to skip to the work smarter, not harder part, right? But that's not how it works. You have to grind. You have to do everything. I'm doing everything from ordering bottles and sticking bottles on or labels on bottles to trying to get sales to doing podcasts. My kids are probably like, nah, Dad, we have to do the bottles, right? But it's a team effort in that regard. But and there's no formulas. The good news is what I've heard consistently from several entrepreneurs is there will be a period of time where you will put in an extraordinary amount of time and effort, right? It's like getting a rocket off the ground, getting an airplane off the ground. Most of the fuel is expended getting off the ground, right? But that's the good news. So we have some consistency when it comes to the formula of success. The time, energy, and effort required, is a lot. The next portion, this is the part where it's not so much fun, a lot of entrepreneurs don't want to face, is that there literally is no formula beyond that, right? It's grit and hustle, and beyond that, I don't know. Like I'm a guy with again, like I said, a customer service tech background, and I've done some sales support type roles, but now I'm like having to sell hot sauce in the food and beverage industry. Like I'm like, do I go to restaurants? Do I go to food distributors? Do I go to cruise line? Like you don't, and nobody's got a manual here, Gabe. This is how you sell hot sauce. Sriracha's not offering me their playbook. They got Tabasco sauce. They've been around for 100 years. They're not saying, here, let me show you how to come into our space. So you're just gonna have to figure that stuff out. And sometimes it can feel like you're going all over the place and you're chasing empty leads. But again, that's entrepreneurship. You and I talked about this the other day. The longer I do this, the more I see where people drop out, right? It's like an endurance race. You look behind you, oh, another one quit, oh, another one stopped. And you understand why, you start to understand why so few people accomplish their dreams and goals. And I'm not saying this like I'm some entrepreneurial guru. Like you guys are getting this in real time. This is what I'm going through right now. And some days you're like, well, what the heck am I doing? Like, and some days I'm selling hot sauce. Like you just don't know. You just have to keep consistently trying this thing, right? But we have a motto that kind of keeps us motivated. And, me and the team came up with this, and it was, if we can just get eyeballs and taste buds on this thing, we know it's good, right? It's been out for a couple of months. I mean, we used to treat it like gold when grandma brought it, right? Because it was good to us personally. But again, remember one of my number one lessons, it doesn't matter what Gabe thinks. What does the market think? So we started testing this out at baseball games, right? It's where we met you, right? It's very unique. Where do you sell hot sauce? At baseball games, right? And so we started selling there, we started getting feedback. Then we started selling online, got some more feedback. So now we've developed confidence. We've heard enough people go, oh my gosh, I've never tasted anything like this. Man, this is unique. Or, holy crap, this is really we've heard so much positive feedback that we now have developed confidence through that period of trial and error, where we're just like, it's a matter of time. Like it's not to be arrogant, but we're like, if we can get people to see this thing and taste this thing, we're good to go, right? Not saying the road is going to be like smooth sailing all the way, but that's kind of that's what keeps us motivated. Every time I go to, whether I'm selling at a gun show or coming up here at a farmer's market, or somebody new in the family tries it, or a new friend tries it, every time I get a little bit more confident. Sometimes I learn things, right? Sometimes I learn things from them. Like, hey, 2 of my hot sauce bottles broke. So then I got to go to my shipper and go, we need some more padding on that. So I'm having a good time, honestly. Just trying to, just enjoying this journey. So I know a lot of people say that, but when I tell people to enjoy the journey, my kids, for example, they're like, "Dad, this sucks. Like, I'm doing 300 bottles. My hand hurts. I'm tired of heat sealing." See, the bottles look sexy, but that's a lot. That takes a lot to make them look like that, right? And I'm like, kids, this is the stuff you got. This is the stuff we smile through. There it is. There it is. See, it's used because she knows it's.
Oh yeah, it is definitely used. And then I love the little mini bottles, the testers.
Mm-hmm.
They are super cute.
Super little sample bottles we do. Those are everyone's favorite because you fill them and then they squirt
You
over
can
the
put them
top.
in your purse. You can put them in your purse.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah.
The audience is loving the tagline, eyeballs and taste buds.
Yep.
That is, and it's all about grounding yourself. And if you, regardless of what you're going through that day, if you can just think of that goal that you have in mind, that's amazing.
Yep.
Talk about, I just need eyeballs and I need taste buds. And the grit, there's something about grit that really differentiates people who are mediocre and those who are successful.
Yep.
And I'll tell you, when I talk to people, in coaching career professionals and entrepreneurs, that is the one thing that stands out in that difference is if you have grit. And I, like I said on some of my posts on social media, I said, when I saw that table, when I saw the Komodo sauce table at the baseball field, and you guys were just like hanging out, just game, and we were in a tournament, and we played 3 games back to back, and you guys were still there talking with the parents, giving out samples. I'm like, wait a minute. You don't have a kid that's playing baseball, but you're here with this table?
Yep. Yep.
That just warmed my heart, I tell you, because that's what a lot of people they forget that part. They just see the glamour part.
Well, everybody wants to skip to glamour, right? It's really it can be good and bad, right? So my investor and their family, like, great people. One of the reasons why we chose to go with them, right? They have 5 kids, we have 6, right? So we understand each other at a familial level, but they're what we call, like, they're financially ahead of us where we want to be, so that part's motivating, right? but we can't sit here and pretend like we're there already, right? So a lot of people will go, our investor, he was like, I mean, I just I didn't know how you'd react when I was like, hey man, you want to come to a baseball game? We were like, yeah, sure, whatever. And he was like, some people are like, no, I don't want to do that. I just want to
Sure.
I want to get the big deals. I want to get the big strategic accounts. I'm like, how are you going to get the strategic accounts, right? In our industry, this is what some people do. They would go straight to a manufacturer co-packer, right? Get 20,000 bottles made without getting market feedback, then try to get a big deal because somebody said that it would be a kill shot, and then they don't get the deal, and now you have 20,000 bottles going bad, right? Now you're sitting on a bunch of inventory, and it's a loss that can be avoided. Hey, a couple $100, figure it out, get some feedback, build some confidence, right? And it's almost like it is one of the more challenging lessons to learn, to sit here and humble yourself to be there. But Brittany's my wife of 16 plus years, and we love it. We love being in the crowd. We have a good time. Our kids come and participate sometimes, so they can see it. They see us struggle. They can see dad mess up on his pitch. They can see they can see everything. They can see somebody go, oh my God, that's too hot, or like, whatever, negative, positive, they get to see it all in real time.
Right.
Because I think that's one of the more valuable lessons we can pass on to them. Because I have this like fear of like becoming wealthy, and then some of the kids don't understand what it took, and it's like that's not what we want. So.
Well, one of our audience members, Marv, is in the office, and he says that he's sipping on New England Old Fashioned. And so, Gabe, I have not asked you yet. What are you sipping on over there? We got to do a cheers.
Let me do a cheers. This is a Red Bull tropical coconut. I'm at my cousin's house up here in Indiana, and he was like, "You're about to drink what?" And he was like, "No, we got to at least put you in a fancy cup." And I was like, "All right, let's do it." So, I don't personally drink. People can do what they want to do, but that's just I just don't. So,
I thought you were gonna bring your sweet tea.
I was gonna bring my sweet tea, but if you've ever seen, for anybody that has a family, if you ever try to get out of the door to get somewhere, I'm just gonna be honest. We're being honest here, right? It's happy hour. It was a little wild. We didn't have time to stop by, Chick-fil-A and get the Lord's sweet tea. So we had to settle for a Red Bull. So.
Hey, I say bring your favorite beverage, whatever that favorite beverage is on that individual. But it's just something about having your favorite beverage in hand, and the environment of a happy hour setting, which I'm loving your ambiance there. And, it almost looks like you're at a happy hour kind of thing. But it's nothing like, really being able to, because we're family around here. We are able to, talk through the good, bad, the ugly, so that hopefully people can learn from some of our mistakes or learn from some of our learnings that they can then take away and think, you know what, I'm not crazy. Because I'm gonna tell you, Gabe, last week I woke up one day, putting on this show in addition to my corporate job and working my business. I woke up and I'm like, what am I doing?
Right.
It's like, what am I doing this for again? But then I'll get a comment, hey, Lashina, I really am enjoying this. Or, hey, that was really a great guest, co-host, and I learned so much. And I'm like, okay, God, that is why you have put this in my spirit and told me that I need to do this. It's not for me. It's you're serving others through that vessel that he's giving you, the platform that he's giving you.
Yep. So that's, purpose is something that drives me on a daily basis, right? People go, well, why do you strive for that extra. I'm like, I just a little sidebar, pause the entrepreneurial stuff for a second. If you work hard, if you show up at work, right? And you're in a good growing industry, you will make enough money to pay your bills. You can make $150,000, $200,000 a year in most decent. If you're in a good market, you can make six figures at a job all day long, especially in an Atlanta market, Miami, any of the big cities in this country. You're going to make money if you just show up. Eventually, just showing up alone on a consistent basis will, like, you'll watch people fall out of the race over time. Okay. Degree or no degree, right? I know we didn't get into my bio, but high school educated, did a little bit of college, decided it wasn't for me. I did fine at school. I just, I wanted to go the entrepreneurial route. I didn't know it would take this long to be a full-time entrepreneur, but I jumped, right? But some people were like, well, you can't do this, that, and the other without a degree. I might have been the only person or one of the only people at my last job without a college degree. And I worked for I said software consultant, but it was a consulting firm that specialized in the aerospace industry, right? So I'm around really smart people, like MIT smart, like SpaceX type smart people. And I'm like, and at first it can be daunting. I'm like, no, I belong here because my niche, my subspecialty, if you will, in the software world is something that this aerospace engineer doesn't get. I figured out my groove, my lane, even within the corporate world, and you're pulling down a decent six-figure income that can take care of your family in the corporate arena without all the degrees that you're constantly being told you need. And that's not a knock on degrees. Do what suits you. Like, if you think that that's the path, that's fine. Or if what you want to do with your life requires a degree, by all means. I'm just like, there's a guy named Bill Perkins that wrote a book called Die with Zero. It's blue, yellow letters, right? Changed my life, right? In the sense that most people are going like just on autopilot, right? They're just going through the motions. I got to go to college because somebody said so. Or, oh, I got to go open this business because somebody said so. Like, wake up, right? Wake up, right? So, sorry, that's just a little soapbox for going down the six-figure path. Like, you don't need, just hustle alone in the proper industry can get you there. Just sidebar, right? And so hopefully some of you folks, like, in the corporate arena, like, struggling to, like, find a path, do a little bit of extra homework, right? Figure out what is my path to my income objective. Can I obtain it at this company? How does this system operate? How does this, just like entrepreneurs, we got to unpackage and figure out how everything works. Do that at your job. It works there. You can be successful. Like, not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Elon Musk famously said in Clubhouse I believe it was Clubhouse a few weeks ago, how do I, and I'm going to butcher this, but as an entrepreneur, what do you say to an entrepreneur to keep them, to keep an entrepreneur motivated? Elon goes, if I have to motivate you, you're probably not an entrepreneur.
Sure.
Okay. And that's okay. It's okay. So,
and I will say that also for career professionals, if you have to be motivated in your career, then you're going to remain stagnant in your career, and you're going to blame other people on why you're not getting promotions. You're going to blame people on why you're not making more money, because you have to own that. You have to show up every day, whether you're a career professional or entrepreneur, as if I am owning my destiny. I'm in control of this. And I make it work.
And I'll say this, in even today's highly charged environment, and hopefully I don't blow this podcast up, right? But even if you run into, this is just how I was raised, and maybe I've been told, oh, you don't understand because you're an immigrant, this, that, the other, right? My father never taught me that my skin color was a detriment to progress, right? Stand up straight, don't let anybody walk over you, period, case closed. I don't care what the color of your skin is, right? Black, white, purple. Don't let anybody walk over you. So that was my mindset. And beyond that, it was put your nose down, get your hustle on. Does this mentality mean that I've never encountered these issues in the corporate arena, in business? Of course not. But you have to learn how to develop a mindset that it's like having a 4x4, right? This path to success is bumpy, it's muddy, there's water, right? And you can go through the shiny car that everybody told you, like, this is how things are, and this car is great. So it's got AC, it's got windows, but you really need a 4x4. And that's your mentality. The type of vehicle you get in is your mentality, where you can sit here and go, all right, well, there's a racist person. All right, let's go ahead and downshift and just, oh, there we go. I don't know what that was, but, and it's not that these things or people don't exist. It's you have to develop a mindset that this has been here since the beginning of time, and you're going to have to deal with it, or you're going to let it stop you in your tracks. So again, that to me goes in the category of grit. If you have grit, you will be able to power through any of those situations, and they will be there, and it's okay, right? The sun will. So sorry.
Wow,
It's not to downplay any of that stuff that goes on, or to co-sign. Of course, it's not okay. But my point is, I'm not going to dedicate my life to changing everybody's heart. I have mouths to feed at home, and I have a mission. I have a calling, right? Me doing that and stopping too long to sit here and resolve the issue takes me off of our mission, which is what? Being as successful as possible. Because the bigger the Komodo Sauce bank account is, the bigger our portion to fight human trafficking is, which is already an underfunded tragedy in our society today. So that's more important than any of my personal feelings being hurt. So,
I'm glad that you're blowing it up, because these are the conversations that we might have in closed doors, but we need to be able to talk about them in a way that we're in a safe space right here. This is a safe space. We want to be able to talk about what are some of the things on our heart and our mind. And what I just heard you say is, I am going to have success despite of anything that comes in my way. And if we think about success in that way, then we won't use some of those things as, oh, I can't do that because of this. I can't do that because of that. What you do is you find a detour.
Right.
And that's where, and the detours are not always easy. Yeah. The detours will take you on, paths and, like you said, the bumpy roads. But then that's where you have a community of folks that you can lean on and can pour into you to help you through that bumpiness.
Right. And here's the thing, and I'll go, and this is, you can take this as, first Gabe, second opinion, right? And that is, even if your cause is some sort of, social justice, right? Even if it is that, if you look throughout time, or you look at any cause, well-funded causes tend to have more success, right? So economic power is, whether we like it or not, I'm not saying it should be this way, but that's the way it is, right? That type of, if you're on a mission to do X, Y, Z, having the funds, right? Because good thoughts and good intentions don't feed starving kids. Good thoughts and intentions don't free slaves, or whatever cause you have, right? Ask the people, call the people at the nonprofit. If you don't believe me, call them. Say, so I have some good intentions for you. How many kids does that feed? And they're gonna go, sorry, are you spamming me? And they're gonna hang up on you, right? So think about that too. It's okay. Like, stay mission focused. A couple of buddies of mine, we mentor kids, pre-pandemic at North Atlanta High. We used to go there every Wednesday and just share some kind of unconventional thoughts, whether it's about business or the corporate world or whatever it was. And we focused on teaching these kids, like, learn how to unpack systems, learn how things work, not how you've been told they work, learn how they actually work. And that goes for entrepreneurs and people in the corporate world too. So
tell us the name of that book again, because I want to drop that into the comment section here.
For sure. It's written by Bill Perkins. It's called Die with Zero. I have this guy's he's a very successful guy, made his money trading, investing in the energy sector, and his philosophy is basically that, if I can give you just a snapshot of the book, it is learn how to optimize your life, right? Meaning there is a point for you where you can personally make too much money. I know I cussed. Right? I know I said a bad word. And here's what he means by that, before like everybody slaughters the guy that's like, almost a billionaire. Living your life optimally means just finding that groove. Again, it's like an airplane engine. You can run that thing too hot. If those things are on full power all the time, that can be bad news bears. Why? Because you need full power to get off the ground, and then you cruise, pull the power back, and then when you land, reverse thrusters, powered up, slow the aircraft down. Now, if you're going across the Atlantic Ocean and you're full power the whole time, you might not get there. Does that make sense? Because we live in a society, like, this is where the hustle crowd can go wrong, or they're like, hustle, 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 accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. And then you get to the top, you look behind you. Now, I did tell you other entrepreneurs and other people will fall apart, but you don't want to get to the top and your wife and your kids are gone.
Right.
Like, who are you? I'm your dad. What do you mean? I haven't seen you in 2 years. Well, I'm rich. Okay, but I funded all these charities. I don't know you. So you can't, like, he talks about living optimally. Like, are you to the point, okay, are your kids taken care of? Yes. For life? Yes. Your mom? Yep. Got all the cars you need? Yep. You have to show up for work? No, not really. You've gone on enough vacations? Yep. Okay, so do you really need another? Do you need to expend? If you make another $1 billion, cool. But do you need to expend the 80, 90 hours a week to make another $1 billion at the expense of your family? No, that's not optimal. The reverse of that is you don't make enough. Stressed out, can't eat, power's getting cut off, cold showers, kids hungry, right? That's not optimal either. So he's like, find your groove for you, which means you have to put a target, right? Which means you have to put a target up there. What works for me? What lifestyle do I want to live? Then you figure out the income you need, right? And it's and he breaks it down mathematically. He goes in there and he breaks it down mathematically. He bought something, and I don't know the name of this website, but you could probably look it up. It's like a life calendar by week or something like that. You can buy a poster, you go to this website, put in your birthday, and you get this poster. And before you get the poster printed, you go, okay, how long am I going to live? Like, the default's 80 years, but I'm going to say 100. I'm going to live 100 years. You put in your birthday, and what it does is it has these little black squares for each week. Okay? Each day of the week. And when you get the poster, it's already pre-filled with how many days of your life you have burned. It sounds morbid, right? But no. I was like, dang, that is one heck of a way to put a sense of urgency. And you can order, I think it's like 40, 50 bucks or something like that. I'm not like partnered with them or anything like that. But I am getting ready to order one for myself, because why? You put this thing up in your office. If you put, you also will get an app on your phone. All right. You put up on your office and you go, Gabe, you don't have all day. You're past the halfway mark. And it's just a reminder that we're not immortal and we don't have all day. Because as many people as we see exit this world, we humans still have this tendency to just be complacent, like we got all the time in the world, and we don't. And I need that. Again, it's not an indictment on other entrepreneurs, like I'm this super guru. It's just I need that reminder as much as the next man, as much as the next woman, to sit here and go, hey, you don't have all day. You're halfway through this thing. Like your kids' shoes are not getting smaller. Right. So anyways.
Man, that talk about getting a sense of urgency, because some of us work on the sense of urgency, or the procrastinators who that's when they work at their optimum pace, is when it's the day before the deadline or the day before their paper is due, and they're cranking it out, they're doing it big time then, but they know time is about to run out, and so they get it done. And it's something about having that sense of urgency that I think, psychologically, you're right. It's something that to light that fire on us. And like one of the posts that I put in the Facebook group this week about, don't just be busy, be productive. Because some of us, we just live to be busy, but we're not producing anything. And without producing anything, then you're not going to earn more revenue. You're not going to earn more money on your paycheck. You've got to produce.
A hamster's busy too. A hamster's super busy.
Yes.
And it's a ditch digger works, probably, if you were to be honest, from a physical labor standpoint, works harder than a computer scientist.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like one is like physically taxing, right? One makes significantly less than the other, right? So you can be, I hear people tell me we're busy all the time, right? So just, I married my high school sweetheart, going on 17 years, right? We have 6 kids. She works a full-time job. She's training for a competition right now. We have 2 kids in sports. One's a musician. One's in diapers. And I'm selling a business in an industry that's brand new to me, or I'm selling a product in an industry that's brand new to me. We had a lot of action in our family, a lot of challenges in our health challenges in our family. Last year, grandmother had a stroke. We almost lost our 1-year-old. We were in the hospital for a month with that. My dad, he's 1-year-old's fine, grandma's fine. Found out dad had cancer, and then he's cancer free now, and it's just there's a lot of life going on, and it is real easy to be busy, right? And I hear people, hey, I hear single people tell me they're busy. Ah, man, I'm so busy. What? Right? And I'm like, I want you to come to my house between between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. So my brothers know, the Fung-A-Wing brothers know what this is called, because they have it's called power hour. If anybody has kids, young kids especially, what's up with power hour. That's dinner time. That's bath time. That's you done with your homework time. That's did you do your chores time. That's mom and dad coming home time. It looks like the luggage room at the airport, probably like on a Sunday night. Like it's nuts. I've had friends come over and they're just standing there in the corner, eyes huge. Like, I gotta go. I'm like, this is every night. So you just figure it out. I'm like, they are my reason for doing this, right?
Yes.
Busted butt. You can gain financial independence at the end of the road. Time and money is an option for us, and that's what we're looking for eventually down the road. And then you can do, Now you can go on trips. You know, you need to go
Right.
to hot sauce in England. Then, hey kids, we're going to England. We're gonna sell to, you know, whatever, Tesco or wherever. I'm sorry, I'm Bush's name any British friends on there, but this they're Costco equivalent over there, right? So it's
Love it.
you can integrate and I'll say the same, but as family and that's working a job doing entrepreneurship. Integrate, if you can, integrate your children
Yeah.
into your dreams, into your dreams. Integrate your wife, your spouse, if you can. I know some of y'all like, yeah, like can't do it. I know some of you can't do it, but if you can, integrate, right? Because one of the things people go 17 years, how? Like, well, how do you keep the marriage going, keep it together? One of my mentors taught me early on, dreams, right? When you have a common objective, right? First, try to center God in our relationship. This is for us, right? And that's a fight. I'm not going to pretend like it's, you know, Sunday school here. You center God in your marriage. Next is a mission, an objective that you can tie your family in. Because why? Now we're not as concerned about socks on the floor. Oh, you didn't mow the grass, right? Or, hey man, we have this obstacle. Oh crap, this building get hit. We got a show coming up. We'll deal with the bill later. We got a show coming up. We need bottles. We need labels. We need to go to the kitchen. We got to go make. And then your trajectory, your mission is bigger than all these little things.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you, you'll not be bored. It'll keep things exciting. It'll keep things fresh. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, that's just again a little nugget on family and, you know, and marriage and business. Right? I was not willing. I've never been willing to sacrifice money for the family.
Mm-hmm.
It just I've seen too much. It's not worth it. I've seen a lot of sad wealthy people.
Yes. Yes. And who wants that? You want to be happy. I mean, you know, that's the whole goal of making money and earning more ideally is to be happy. And that's, you know, when we talk about that secret sauce, you've touched on that in so many places throughout the conversation. But, you know, with that being our topic, I want to make sure that people are really picking up what you're putting down because there's some really, really great nuggets that you're putting down about how even in your corporate job that you had that secret sauce. You
Yep.
had value that you brought to that job, a niche almost that you
Yep.
were able to be successful in that. But you know, sometimes people think, oh, well, that's the only thing that I'm meant to do in life. And no, you own that. So
Yep.
if
Yep.
that's not making you happy, then pivot, change
Yep.
it up.
Yep.
As you said, I love how you said you use that term that one of our previous guest co-hosts used, jump, make that jump. And it's just, and you know, I really like how, you know, whenever something can be tied back to a cause, because I think that all of us, you know, it's one thing about making money and earning a living, but it's another thing about giving back that
Yep.
really helps just your overall happiness. And I want to touch on that. I know we're getting very close to the end of our hour. Can you believe it's almost up? I can't believe it has flown by. But when you're tying it back to human trafficking, please share with us a little bit about, you know, how do you give back to that cause, you know, and why it means so much to you, and be able to, you know, share with us about, you know, where individuals can purchase your products.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, one of my favorite, and I'm being mindful of time, but the thing I've been called to deal with and to help address is modern day slavery. And I watched a movie back in 2010, I believe, it's called Machine Gun Preacher, and Gerard Butler stars in there. And you know, it's about a guy named Sam Childress, who's former biker gang member. Anyways, finds Jesus on a couple of trips while he's going out to Sudan to the Sudan, and he's out there, and there's while he's at his orphanage that's being built, there's news that an attack is coming from a neighboring village is being attacked. And he looks at the soldiers who are guarding the orphanage. He goes, "Y'all gonna go? We're gonna go do something?" He's like, "No, no, no, we'll wait for the XYZ to come deal with it." He grabs an AK, he gets in a truck, and he goes. And the locals started calling him the machine gun preacher, right? Because he's a Christian guy. He's got this, right? But the moral of the story, the two things I got from there is one, Christian life is rated R, right? I don't care what Sunday school teaches you. That was the first time I ever saw it depicted that way. And the second thing was becoming people of action. Again, I said it earlier, intentions don't feed mouths. Intentions don't solve problems. In fact, some really bad things have been done with people had intentions, right? So that got me going and looking into this and what was going on in Sudan, and just started looking at modern day slavery in a larger on a larger scale. Then some of my friends were attending church here in Atlanta, Passion City, who were involved with what's called the End It movement. If anybody's seen the red X that people draw on their hands once a year. And I really started diving into that, seeing there's tens of millions of people still in physical bondage throughout the world. And I'm sitting here going, what is this never again talk? What is this abolition talk? Like, how is this happening today? And then it dawned on me. It's happening today because of who the customers are, right? It's real easy to go, oh, this is a colonizer, he's got slaves, attack, right? It's real obvious. Here, well, the person helping this is could be your neighbor, could be a pastor, could be a politician, could be a banker, could be a guy who works at a car wash. It's so wide ranging that I was like, what the heck do we do? So I partnered with an organization called the Exodus Road. And the reason why I chose them is because of where they sit on the spectrum of fighting, of abolishing slavery, right? And just to kind of lay this out, there's the front end, which is how I see it, rescue operations, right? Then there's a rescue operation recovery, right? Then there are rehab, right? A lot of these people, sex trafficking or physical, physical slavery. These folks need physical and mental rehab. And then there's reintegration. I decided to get on the front end or support an organization that's operating on the front end because one of the biggest issues in modern day slavery is nobody's looking. I said the customers, right? Who these people are. Nobody wants to raise their hand because the guilty are far and wide, but nobody's looking for these people. What does that mean? Where do you find somebody trapped in slavery? You got to go to brothels. You have to go to the darkest corners of society. And you have organizations like the Exodus Road, and there are several others that you can find on the End It Movement's website that are involved with helping combat this on the front end, right? So I decided to go and support this organization because they're going undercover. They're working on the cybersecurity or on the cyber side of things, helping track these traffickers down. And they're working with local law enforcement to turn in these reports and turn in these documents to help bust the people running these operations, right? Because there's no rehab, there's no reintegration if we don't get them, right? And I think this is just the beginning, right? My hope is to go beyond that. It will take a concerted effort far beyond what just nonprofits are doing. I think nonprofits are just the beginning. But if we want to really see this end in our lifetime or see it end in our children's lifetime, it will take an all-out effort from law enforcement, from legislators, it's going to take top to bottom because it's going to take a lot of door kicking to solve this problem. So that's just where our heart is. We want to help get these people out as much as we can. And right now it means, supporting an organization. We're not married to any particular organization, but right now it requires, we're supporting the Exodus Road. If we decide to support somebody else or decide to redirect some of those funds to help push legislation, to get law enforcement more involved, we'll do that, right? But it's a lot bigger problem than I thought. And I said,
Mhm.
hey, let's not just talk about it. You know, let's be about it. Let's put some dollars behind this. And it's not a lot now, but um, it'll be more down the road. So
And what's so impressive about this cause is that I think, there's so much darkness in our society that we sweep under the rug and we don't talk about. And human trafficking is real. It is real and it is happening. And we need to talk about those things. We need to be able to say, hey, I know people who have been impacted by this so that we can all, bond together
right.
to make a difference.
And if
And
you
so
want to
that's why
figure,
I appreciate that.
if you want, and I'm sorry to say this, but you don't have to help the way we help. I tell everybody this is the fight of our lives, because there are a lot of things that we sit here and go, oh, this is a problem, or we need to fix this. And I'm like, no, there's actually people in bondage, right? I live in Kennesaw. It's like Mayberry, right? Allegedly. But that stuff goes on in our backyard. That stuff goes on in my neighborhood,
Yep.
right? It's and it's not to like create this distrust. It's like, call your local law enforcement. Hey, do you guys have an anti-human trafficking department? Hey, what are you guys doing? Call your legislators. They probably need a couple phone calls about this, because how any and every politician is not running as this being their primary plank is beyond me. I don't understand the taxes, energy, stimulus. Really, we have people in bondage, and it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna go down tonight and tomorrow night and the night after that. And I'm not trying to say this to like freak people out or to kill the mood of happy hour. Geez, Gabe, like, what are you doing? It's just the thing is like, I want people to help battle this darkness. If you start your companies, the reason why I did this with Komodo Sauces from the beginning, and why I didn't say from profits, I don't want to donate from profits. I want to give from revenue. So it is a line item. So on a bad year, this cause doesn't suffer. The reason I did that is because I want to inspire other entrepreneurs that when you come up with your next $1 million idea, $2 million idea, donate 5%, 2%, 1% of your revenue to this cause somewhere on the spectrum. So we can all start putting, it's one thing if Gabe puts $5, $10, $100. It's a whole other thing when Apple puts $100 million behind it.
Yes.
It's a whole other thing when Tesla puts $1 billion behind the cause. That starts
Mm-hmm.
getting some real attention.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. And you know what? This doesn't kill the vibe because, at happy hour, you know how you can get in some deep conversations and you solve the world problems at happy hour? That's what we do
mhm.
here at Career Happy Hour. We get deep with some things. So
Yeah, I can
we
go
will
like,
we are going to give the special hashtag. We appreciate everyone who has been tuning in, who've been making comments. We so appreciate you. And so for those who have stayed to the end, we have a special giveaway for those who drop in the comments. Hashtag secret sauce. Tell them, Gabe, what are they going to get when we do this raffle of those who comment hashtag secret sauce?
so what you guys will be getting, let me hold this up, not drop these. So, I worked with Lashina. What we're going to do is give out 2 of these to 2 people that win the raffle, and I'll go ahead and send them out to you as a free gift for, attending the whole session and listening to us. And, I hope I brought you some value, but, definitely want to get some more eyeballs and taste buds on this product. So just from a gift from the folks at Komodo Sauces to your listeners, we'll be giving away 2 what we call Komodo mix kits. So 1 red, 1 black, 5 ounce.
I love it. Those are my brand colors too, so that works perfectly.
That's
I
right.
I I don't know what Nigeria is up here hashtagging, but I think she got it right. Nigeria, what are you doing over there? Are you sipping on your secret sauce already? We're gonna have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation about that on the sidebar. But thank you. We will. So those that are tuning in to the replay, so you still have a chance to be part of the drawing. So we'll close it off on Friday for all those who have put the hashtag secret sauce.
Yep.
You'll have to catch up on the comments later, Gabe.
I'm sure.
So I so appreciate you. I am going to drop in your website for those who do not win the drawing. So we're gonna put in your website. So it's Komodo Sauces.
KomodoSauces.com. Right now, we just turned that on. We just turned on the special orders of $40 or more get free shipping. So
Awesome. And then make sure that you follow on social media. So what's your social media handle?
It's at Komodo Sauces, real simple. And again, it's Komodo, like the Komodo dragon, paying homage to Indonesia, where this hot sauce comes from. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, I so appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us, Gabe. It's been a real pleasure. I tell you, you guys have really come out and supported us with Career Happy Hour. We so appreciate the love, the support. Please, I invite you to spread this movement. We have massive amount of people to impact with this movement. So please, if you're getting any value, just a little bit of value, please help us spread this movement and invite others to join us at careerhappyhour.com. And that way, we want to make sure that we are normalizing earning six figures. It is a real deal, that it is possible, and that it is something that is sustainable, because we want to make sure that you're staying recruitable, profitable, and visible while rocking your oomph. I am your host, Lashina Recruitalina. I am absolutely obsessed with your success. Thank you again for joining in, and see you next week. Take care.